And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, the guy that's flexing back there is an old man that has nothing left to flex, but that's okay because the Weighing In podcast is here to talk about everything that occurred on November 25th. It was the PFL with their championship, multi-championship, 6 world titles, I guess, on the line from the Hulu Theater in New York. They try to say it's Madison Square Garden, where it's really not. It's the Hulu Theater, but it's okay. Yeah. I kind of understand why. But big upset. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the whole thing. A lot of boxing is coming up for everyone to see. We'll talk about that, maybe a little bit about what's coming up. How you doing, my man? Getting a little scratchy, itchy?
I'm doing really good. I mean, the weather's been kind of warm here in California. I mean, I don't know what your weather has been like there, but it's been nice here. The sun was out the last 2 days. Thanksgiving was like probably, I'd say, high 60s, and then yesterday it was in the low 70s. I'm like,
very
fuck,
nice.
I ain't mad at this. Then I looked up the weather in Dallas, Texas, and it was raining. And it was cold. It was like in the 40s. I was like, oh shit. So, oh man. But anyways, and before we get started, go to WeighingInMerch.com. We have a new merch site, ladies and gentlemen. New. Did you guys hear me? I said a new merch site. So Black Friday sale was yesterday at 50% off everything. But guess what? Is it carrying through the weekend, John? Is that sale carrying through the weekend?
Yes, it does.
I just wanted to clarify to make sure everyone understood that.
You just wanted to bring a little bit of emphasis to that.
Yes. So we are very happy about this because we are going to be offering sweats. We're going to be offering hoodies. We're offering good quality shirts. And what I love is the print. So it's a thinner base print that lays down. There will be no base underneath. It'll be just strictly to the shirt. You won't have 5 layers, so it doesn't feel like something's melting on your chest when it gets warm. It's going to feel good. It's going to feel nice. The tri-blend shirt's going to be out there. Beautiful shirts. Look, I'm excited. It has the old logo, the new logos, and saw a lot of new designs too, which I really like. So, John had reached out to Punk Ass from Lions Not Sheep from the old Tap Out days, and Punk Ass is one of our close friends. I mean, actually, I bought one of his Mercedes, his S63 from a while back,
which was a nice car. I can't believe you bought that car. It was super nice.
It was.
They
nice.
all had one, and those things. I drove that sucker. I go, this thing's freaking.
Yeah,
nice.
It was, and he was really kind of like, I don't want to get rid of it, but then he had already bought a Ferrari, so I was like, I don't feel bad for you. It's just
he kept on buying Lambos too.
Yeah. He had a Ferrari, I think, at the time.
He had it tough. He had it tough, man.
Yeah, he had a really nice raised
Poor
truck.
Dan.
Yeah, he's just living that rough life. And, but yeah, so I had reached out. That's the first TV I ever had, first car I ever had with the TVs in the headrest. It's pretty cool. Now all my cars have that.
Because you have kids.
Yes,
not for you.
You gotta keep them entertained, buddy. Yeah, just like, hey, silence back there.
Yeah. Watch
silence.
that.
But no, some of the merch on here, man, is awesome. New designs, new gear, new everything. So, and we're not done yet picking out what we're gonna have put up there, but as of right now, we got plenty of shirts to choose from. John, no. But Dave, scroll down a little bit for me, please. I really like that light gray one up there, and the hoodies are all very nice, different types of logos. So, and there's also a couple simple ones that they're not just all spread out all over the place. So I really love this design. I really like what we're doing with this. And
kind of went back to the old too also.
Yes, with the old logo there. Keep it clean a little bit. Go to WeighingInMerch.com. Pick up some of our merch there with the 15% off black sale through the weekend. So Black Friday sale, which is actually Black Weekend sale since it's through the weekend. John, first thing I want to say is to Miss McCarthy and you is happy anniversary.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yes. What, 38?
It's a long time.
38
years, almost as long as you've been alive.
Very close. Very close.
Woo!
Damn.
It's a long time.
I'm surprised she's put up with your ass that long.
Dude, can you believe that? Because if now I'm a pain in the ass. It's not easy to up with me.
I can handle you in doses.
And you got to admit, I do a lot of crazy things. I get ideas like, yeah, we can do that. And you know what? She has followed. She has led. She has been there the entire time.
So great.
My wife is my rock. She's awesome.
She was telling me about this story, and I want you to tell it to me.
Oh, shit. What did she tell you? She pisses me off when she talks to you.
No, I want to hear this story. Did you tell the story already on here? I don't think so, but she told me the story last week that you had flipped over I think it was your daughter that told me that you had flipped over the thing,
So
and then
side by side.
and you didn't want to tell them until you got it out.
It's
Because your sister was insistent on helping, or your daughter was insistent on helping you, but you didn't want to tell them. Yeah, no, but something was leading up to that. You wanted. She was supposed to help you with something in the car or in that side by side, going somewhere. Anyways, tell us the story, John. How you rolled over, how you fell into a ditch or something.
I didn't fall into a ditch. I fell into trees. Here, I don't know. Here, I'll try to give you a very blurry.
We're playing charades now. We're playing charades now. Use your hands and stuff.
We'll do charades.
Car here and
I got a little bit bored on the farm because I had done some work, and it was like, I want to play around a little bit. Well, we have multiple side by sides. I have a Can-Am side by side. We have a Kubota side by side. It's for work and stuff. The Can-Am is it's a 4-seater with a tilt bed in the back, so it's more for taking people around and showing them stuff, but my wife used that one. So we had gotten this other side by side, which is a Segway side by side, which is fast as shit. But I got it from my father-in-law so he could get around, and he didn't like it because it was too rough for him and stuff. So I ended up getting him a golf cart. So I inherited the Segway side by side, and it was like, all right, I'll make this one mine. This is fine, no problem. So I get the Segway. Well, this day, like I said, it's fast. This thing hauls ass. It goes the top end of about. I've had it up to 66 miles per hour. Jeez. Right? And it's real short wheelbase. And so when you give it gas, it's the back end is kicking out and it's all squirrely and stuff, but it's a blast. It's fun. So I kind of decide I make a little race course, through the pastures and, going through gates and stuff. And I'm having a blast. I'm having fun. Right. And all to the point where I'm good. And then I realized I can go around because I have this one pasture and it's got a pig pen there, and it's got this one outbuilding. I said, I can go past that. Well, I forgot that there is a ditch on the other side of the outbuilding that I hit at because I did the corner and I'm sliding it, and it slides back, and when it slides back, it hits the ditch and it goes up in the air, and now it's flying through the air. Well, the tires aren't on the ground, so the steering's not doing anything. I'm going right for the trees, right? So as it lands, it does the rollover and stuff, and it stops in the trees, right? And when I'm not wearing a seatbelt, I'm not wearing a helmet, I'm not wearing any of that shit. So when it finally stops and I realize, shit, that hurt. It was one of those, I go, well, all right, let me climb out of this thing. So I climb out of it. When I climb out of it, I look, and my side by side is completely upside down, right? And it's stuck in the trees, and I go to move it, and it's like, that's a heavy son bitch. I don't think I can move it. So it's like, damn. So I start looking around and I go, well, no one saw that. So this is a good thing. So I think I can get this thing out of here. So I go and I do a little short jog back to my place, and I steal my wife's side by side. I get some straps and go back there and I strap it up. And now I've got it's stuck on its roof, and so I've got to pull it. The only way I can pull it is onto its side. I can't go forward or backwards with it, so I got to pull it onto its side. So I pull it onto its side, and then I wrap it up again, and I pull it over onto its wheels, right? And I drive my wife's back to where she's at. She just doesn't realize that I've done anything, and I get into my side by side. I start it right up. Yeah, it's got a little scratch on the back end. The one little panel's broken, right? But we're good, man. And I drive it right home. No one knew. It was beautiful.
You're a liar. Your daughter knew.
She had no idea until she was told. Because I actually heard, and this is why I'm saying I'm going to try to see if I can show the picture.
You're that mischievous kid that ran and used horrible. Your mom's or uses your brother or sister's equipment to get your own shit out of Hawk.
So I did take a picture.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if you can see. That's it in the middle.
Oh, wow. That's upside down.
Oh, yeah, it's upside down.
How'd you get out of that? You just crawled out?
Crawled out.
You got your big ass out of there? That's surprising right there.
Thank you very much.
So, I'm assuming you were wearing your seatbelt.
I said no seatbelt.
So how you didn't fly out?
No, I kind of bounced around inside. It's kind of like
God.
It's like a lotto ball.
You're fucking a lotto ball. Nice round little ball. Oh man, that's so great. You're like that kid. You're that kid that would like try to be sneaky about shit when you're young. I have a question for you. If one of your kids would have done that, you would have been mad, right?
Yeah, that's different.
I always picture you as having double standards. You feel like, you just do what I tell you, not what I do.
This is not do as I do. This is do as I say. Okay?
Ruthless.
No, not ruthless. It's because I don't want them to get hurt. No, look at I honestly
don't want them to fuck up your shit.
No, it's funny because I used to take my kids out quadding and dirt biking and all kinds of stuff and dune bugging, and my whole thing was have fun. If you're gonna do something dangerous, do it as smart as you can do it. But you got to take chances. You say I want to climb that, I want to jump that. All right, what's the best way of doing it? And that's something that was always my thing. Go ahead. If you get hurt, we'll take care of it.
Yeah,
no, you don't want to see them get hurt, but you got to take chances in life. It's fun.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. Obviously there's a famous quote or segment of what Jordan Peterson says, like, don't stop your kids from doing dangerous things safely, or so, it's something along those lines.
Yeah.
And he's right. You've got to make sure that your kids learn to fall, learn to get up, dust themselves off, understand what it's like to hit the ground, and it's also, I think, it's very painstaking for a parent to watch their kid get hurt, cry, but then you realize, you know what, they'll get over it. It takes a while.
One of the worst things that we've done as a society is we've become helicopter parents. We were hovering over the kids and stuff, and I tried not to do it, but we've taken away the ability for them to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. We don't want to make mistakes. By making a mistake, you learn. And you don't want them to get hurt, but you've got to allow your kids to make mistakes, learn from the mistake, figure out how that mistake occurred, and then move on from there. That's part of growing up, and that's where you start to develop common sense. Mm-hmm. And we have, we've got a bunch of kids now, they can't make a decision because they're afraid. Well, what should I do? We've taken it away because we didn't give them the chance to figure out what they should have done when they were young. It's crazy, but you gotta let your kids make mistakes.
It's part of life.
It is.
They gotta learn how to figure it out. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna get into some fight talk now. Let's pull up what we started with PFL. Big upsets, some great knockouts. But before we get started, go to mybookie.ag. Use our promo code Weighing In. You guys can thank us later for some good betting odds. Now, if you would have listened to us, you could have not made any money on the main event because we would have went with Kayla Harrison.
But we just told you not to bet it.
Yeah. The other thing though too is that the odds, I didn't realize what the odds were on that fight because we didn't look at the odds for this fight. But geez, Dave and John, it was like minus 1,400 at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, like those type of, when you see odds like that, just throw $20 down. See what happens.
Oh yeah.
And people would have came out on top.
Well, especially, and this is where you go, especially when you have a fighter. Yes, Larissa Pacheco had lost to, Kayla twice already, but they both went to the distance.
Yeah. And
so you look and you go, one was a 5-round fight, one was a 3-round fight, but look, she can fight. Is she the favorite? Absolutely not. Should Kayla, be the favorite? Yes, she should have been. But in that situation, that's where I say, you got an underdog that has the ability to possibly win the fight. Put a little bit on it. Every now and then you're going to come out on top.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just got to go for it. Every once in a while, like things like this happen, especially, I guess, when I look back at how the Ronda Rousey, her rise, and then look at Kayla Harrison, her rise. I look at a couple different things is they haven't fought every style just yet. Now, I know she's fought Larissa Pacheco before, twice, and this is her third time.
Which makes it harder.
which also makes it harder to get motivated for that fighter. And then on top of it, for Larissa, it makes it easier for her to be motivated for that fighter because, like, look, I'm in the finals every damn time against you, or I fought you already twice, and you've cut me out of being in the finals, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But she is somebody that is very driven. I was very impressed with her last night, John. Very impressed.
Bless you.
Oh, man.
What were you impressed with?
You know, I was impressed with the way that, because we had talked last week, and we had said she just doesn't have a way of getting up from underneath. Well, she got up several times yesterday. And not only did she get up every time, especially later in the later rounds, and like everything rounds 3 and 4, she hit the ground, and she was already kind of working her way back up when she hit the ground. I was very impressed with her ability to fend off submissions attempts. I was impressed with her ability to escape out of control positions. She did a very good job. She even threaded a couple triangles in there several times. She had one that looked like it was pretty tight. That looked like it blew her wad though for a little bit. But then her recovery was good coming back after that round because she shot the triangle, didn't get the triangle, and then got stuck on bottom for about a minute and 45 seconds or a minute and 50 seconds, something like that. And the rest of the round, she recovered. Or at the end of the round, she recovered between rounds and came out. She looked good. I thought the both of them fought their asses off.
They both fought their asses off.
They both.
But
that absolutely.
Let's be honest about this. Larissa I hate to say it, it's Pacheco.
Okay.
Larissa Pacheco made basic mistakes. Fight IQ. There were times when she has Kayla's back, but you can see she's losing it.
Yeah.
And she sits there, and we talk to people all the time about, look, when you feel, I'm not going to be able to hold this position. Well, then let it go and move yourself to the next best thing. And all she had to do was come out on top. She had the ability to come out. She'd come out and mount. And if you don't like the mount, fight. Go to half guard. I don't care. But maintain that position where you have the advantage. And instead, she lost position. Kayla turned on top of her and stuff. And you look and you go, I understand you're tired. But these are the times when you've got to say, I cannot stop. Yeah. And that is part of, fight IQ and everything. I give it to both ladies. I thought Kayla fought her ass off. She was exhausted through the last part of that fight, and she kept coming back. She kept trying, which just goes to show you what kind of competitor she is. I thought, Larissa Pacheco did an unbelievable job in creating scramble situations, in making Kayla have to work. She didn't stop. And personally, I believe that she outstruck her from the bottom.
Yeah.
Look, Kayla was on top. She was not landing near the volume, and she wasn't really landing the harder shots when she was in the better position. And a lot of that was based upon what Larissa was doing to create problems for her, and she landed a ton of shots. And I had it 2-2 going into the 5th round. I thought they both had won 2 rounds going in there, and I thought, Larissa Pacheco won that 5th round. It was close. It was tight. But she snuck it out, and she did it by being the busier fighter, being the person that was trying to do damage, where at a certain point, Kayla was trying to control and hang on in the fight because she was tired. And again, I don't sit there and I don't take joy in the fact that, the 15-0 fighter, the fighter the PFL has been trying to pump or anything like that. Oh, she lost. This is going to make Kayla, in my opinion, for all the girls out there that she was talking about fighting, before this loss, it ain't going to get any easier because she's going to learn from that loss. She's going to learn some things about herself. She's going to learn some things that she's going to improve on, and she's going to come back a better fighter. So, yeah, she has a loss on her record. That's just part of the sport of MMA. You're going to get that. She's still a fantastic athlete. She's a fantastic competitor, and I honestly believe she's going to be a better fighter based upon that fight. That was the one fight where someone truly pushed her.
Yeah, what you said it right about the damage she was able to do from the bottom. And then even also when Kayla was chasing after the single legs and the double legs, she was making her pay with the elbows.
Yep.
What I liked is she was waiting for Kayla to stop her movement and then striking real hard. And then when Kayla went to move again, she'd go back to defending.
Back to the grappling. Don't sit there and try to strike while someone's grappling with you. You're probably going to end up in a position you don't want.
Yeah, so she was, even if there were just hammer fists or quick little elbows, or she was doing a lot of good stuff from the bottom and making it uncomfortable for Kayla Harrison to be on top and just be able to hold you down or not do work or damage. In the first round, Kayla Harrison had some good ground and pound in that when she was able to get the fight to the ground. But after that, every time she hit the ground, even when she was in the guard, she was being threatened with something, whether it was elbows to the head, whether Larissa was leaning back and landing some shots, side to side. Sorry, guys. Whether she was leaning back and hitting the shots right and left, little hooks to the side of the head, or when she was trying to stuff the takedown, she was elbowing and hammer fisting and making it uncomfortable for Kayla to be there. You can tell that Kayla doesn't handle that type of fast exchanges when she's trying to be aggressive on the wrestling. She struggled every time she started getting hammer fisted or being elbowed or anything along the side of she kind of just, I wouldn't say panicked, but the takedown didn't go as planned after that. And I feel like that was really kind of more the deciding factor is one person's just hanging on to you, holding you, trying to get the takedown, and the other one's actually doing damage.
Yep.
And so that's kind of a big reason I think that most of the judges swayed towards Larissa. And she also did threaten a couple of good submissions, especially that triangle. I know it wasn't extremely close because the arm wasn't across and the elbow was still, out there. But she had her there for a good, probably say a minute 30. I think she had her in that triangle. She was there for a while. You could tell that's why her legs were depleted after that. But overall, I agree with you. I think even Kayla, I think I had read something in there, and I think even Chris Cyborg had came out and said, that's only going to make her a better fighter. But Kayla had also said, like, hey, look, you can't win them all pretty much, and I'm looking to come back, and it's and just this is part of growing pains. It's gonna make me a better person. So we'll see. There's no doubt she's a dog. I mean, 5 rounds is not easy. It doesn't matter how great a shape you in or not. So.
Well, she's got two fights left on her PFL contract. And you got to figure, how does that go? Because that means somewhere, I don't know, middle of 2023, she could be out of her contract. End of 2023, she'll definitely be out of her contract. Do you think other organizations are going to want her? I do.
I think they're going to have her fight Aspen Ladd.
That will be a fight for her.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I don't think Aspen Ladd can stuff her takedown, but it's, I don't know. But then again, I mean, she got in trouble with Larissa Pacheco in the submission department a couple of times. So that could be something. Yeah,
but let's be honest. Larissa Pacheco is a different stand-up fighter than Aspen Ladd.
That's true as well. Yeah, the dangers of being hit on the feet by Aspen versus Pacheco is not the same.
Not the same.
Yep, interesting.
Brendan Loughnane against Bubba Jenkins. This is a good fight. I thought Bubba fought his ass off. Did everything that he could in trying to create situations, create positions. He just wasn't able to figure out the distance that he needed to cover with his hands to get into Brendan. Brendan did a great job of stopping all the takedowns for the most part. Limp-legged out of things when Bubba would get a hold of a leg. Look at Brendan's a tough son of a bitch. Ever since I watched him, when we were over in Russia and I watched him fight, he broke his arm. A guy kicked him and he broke his arm and stayed in the fight and won the fight. This kid's tough, just watching him go, this is a tough kid. Besides the fact that his nose is making a left-hand turn. When you look at him, he's tough, man. They got a good one. For whatever reason, that featherweight division has been gold. For the PFL, as far as that's been their glamour division for the men, as far as the best fighters. And he looked great.
It was crazy to me though. Remember the kid that won it last year, the Russian kid?
Yeah,
and then he's gone. He didn't come back this year.
I think he got hurt.
Didn't he do that the year before? Did he get hurt again? Because
I thought he got hurt. Yeah,
that's so weird. I'm like, damn, he's so good.
He is good.
Yeah, and so but how do you say his name? Loughnane? Loughnane? Brendan?
Brendan Loughnane.
Loughnane, okay.
Yeah.
John, I'm very impressed with him. Very impressed. I thought he fought his ass off. The first round wasn't going his way. I thought Bubba looked fantastic, but he just put money in the bank with those calf kicks.
Boy, he ate that calf up, but you could see the damage.
Oh yeah,
it was very Rory McDonald like as far as the swelling and everything that we saw.
Yeah,
and you can only take so many of them before you have no base and balance. You cannot feel that leg. It's just an awkward position to be in when you think you can balance yourself and you can't based upon the damage you've taken.
Yeah, he wasn't able to do anything really after the second round. He wasn't able to do anything. Actually, midway through the second round, his takedown attempts were very poor. He had a really good jab. His biggest mistake, honestly, is he let the calf get to him so much that he only started throwing ones and not even twos. He threw a straight jab with the right hand, switch stance, throw the straight right. He just wasn't throwing twos and threes. Had he followed up with something else, he could have potentially have at least rocked him or put him down or done something, because he was landing some clean, hard shots.
Well, he landed some hard shots in there.
And then that jab was money, but then his calf was getting kicked. And just a little way for fighters. If once you start getting kicked in that calf, there's a couple little things you can do. Look what Charles Oliveira does. He stands more of a straight upright position and then just kind of goes with the leg. He just lifts his leg up at the knee. And that kind of takes away some of the damage that you do from there. It's like almost raising your knee up and then just curling your heel to your butt a little bit, or your hamstring. That will help with that calf kick exchange, because everyone's still trying to figure that out. There's that, or you crowd that space and you get into it too close so the power's not there. So those are the two things. Bubba couldn't figure either one of those out because of the way he had a wide stance for his wrestling. Then he had to keep switching his stance. So he just never really got settled into being able to get a rhythm going after those calf kicks. And then both calves started getting kicked because he was switching stance so much. So there's that. So you got to make some improvements on that. Charles Oliveira does that where he just lifts his heel up, lifts his knee and lifts his heel up to his butt or his hamstring. And then you know who else did that? Was Anderson Silva back. When people would try to kick his calf or kick his leg, he would just lift his heel up to his butt and his hamstring. That kind of avoids it as well. You can sometimes just get them to miss completely if you just pull your heel up to your butt. It's something that you're going to have to drill, practice. It's not something you're just going to be able to do in a fight. You've got to work on it and drill it and train it, because you got to get the rhythm of it. You got to also, it's going to change a little bit every fighter depending on how fast they are. When you see it, what their tell is, when they're getting ready to kick, all of those things. I feel bad because Bubba's getting older in age, and this was like he's in the finals.
This was his chance.
Moment. Yeah, his moment. And then, last year he got close too, and then he lost to Chris Wade. He's had a good run at the PFL. He just hasn't been able to get that final prize. And I feel bad for him, but he was fighting his ass off. But John, from the time he was in Bellator a while back to this time now, and in that gap in between there, his stand-up and him being as comfortable on the feet is way better. He looks like a whole different fighter.
Yeah,
whole different fighter.
He actually looks. Dewey Cooper's done a great job with him. He actually looks comfortable on the feet, where before he didn't look comfortable on the feet, and he was always really more looking. You could see him looking for that takedown so he could get the fight to the ground and do damage there and stuff. This is the best I ever saw Bubba look. If you're taking a look at the full package, he just was fighting someone that, is a very good anti-wrestler, does a great job in keeping himself on his feet. And look at Brendan Loughnane lands powerful shots. He doesn't land every shot with power. He'll just touch you, but he'll also turn it up on certain ones. And he's got snap, man. And this was his time, and you got to give it up to him. He fought a great fight, and he fought, 2 times in a row. Chris Wade first, fought a beautiful fight against a guy that can really wrestle, and here again against Bubba Jenkins, showing that he's really got an idea of how to stop guys now from, wrestling. The one guy that was able to do it is exactly the one you're talking about, Movid. He was able to take him to the ground repeatedly, and that was the difference in that fight.
All right, next.
Well, we had Ante Dalia against Mateus Shuffle. This one didn't last long. It was just, you're just looking at it was, hey, we thought that D'Elia was the guy. He's big, man. He's like 6'5". He's got power. And when he lands, his shots, or if he takes you to the ground and uses ground and pound, he's got, a lot of weight, a lot of size, a lot of strength. He's just the best heavyweight that they have as far as the full package. Bruno is a guy they had great stand up, not so much, the groundwork, but Ante, he worked his way through this season, got the win that he should have gotten. He's their champion. It was an impressive performance.
Yes, very good. What's your takeaway from the Aspen Ladd and Julia Budd fight?
All right, I'm gonna be straight out. First off, Julia Budd, she just doesn't throw enough, and that's been her problem throughout time. And her stand-up has gotten very stiff as far as the way she throws it. She's pushing her punches instead of letting her punches, flow out, come back. Aspen Ladd, you better get better in the stand-up. Your ground, your wrestling is good. Your ground she's got great positioning. She did a great job in that first round in controlling the back of Julia. But you square off repeatedly during your stand-up. You've got a certain head movement that you continually go back to. It's a pattern, and that pattern is going to end up costing you problems against someone that catches that pattern and times it down in their training, and you're going to do the same thing in the fight. You've got to be careful with that pattern that she has. And her getting square, when she is out of position to throw anything in the stand-up, is going to cost her when someone really looks at what she does and decides, I'm going to attack on those moments. She's got to be careful with it. But nice win. I don't want to say anything bad about it. Nice win. I thought she deserved the win. It was a split decision, but it was a close fight. She dominated the first round. Second and third were close. A lot of clinching. I thought Julia won the second, and it came down to the third, and I thought that Aspen snuck it out.
I'm going to start with Julia Budd. She looks like she's carrying too much muscle, that once she starts getting a little bit of blood into them, when she starts filling out as the round goes on, she looks slow and lethargic. Like, it's like you said, pushing the punches out. It's almost like she's laboring them to get them there. Yep. She looks really slow, John.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't seem like there's any pop on her punches or kicks or her
She's also
pushing.
Almost 40.
That's the other thing. Like, it just comes. I think it may just be time, because she shouldn't. With her abilities, like, even when I look back in her Bellator days and like even when she was back with Strikeforce days.
Yeah.
She had some pop. She had some bounce in her step. Now she looks like she's laboring to get from round to round. Like, there's no more really pep in her step. She's not putting combinations together. I don't see it anymore. I don't see the draw. I'm like, we always question, like, she doesn't believe in herself. You can kind of see that, but she's just not, like, if the output's not there. She just needs to have more output. But then if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to have that output. And if you're feeling heavy in terms of, like, things are coming out slow and you're getting hit more than you're landing, that starts wearing on you as well. It's just like I said in video games, your power level just goes down and down and down. And that's what I feel like I see from her. It's like nothing's really getting out and having the effect that it used to have when she was younger. It might just be time. She's been around for a long time. Like you said, she's almost 40. Might be time to hang it up. I don't see it. I don't see it anymore. And look, if you want to do it because you're just out there to make money and have fun, have at it. But if you're trying to still be the champ somewhere, I just don't see it. I don't see it anymore. But Aspen Ladd, there's a lot of things I got to give her credit for. It's never easy to go into a new promotion and have your first fight. And to do it against somebody like Julia Budd, who's been there, done that in a lot of these places. You got to remember, her only losses, Julia Budd's only losses are to, Cyborg, Amanda Nunes, I think, right? And then somebody else.
Oh, Ronda Rousey. But she lost. Julia lost her first fight in PFL against.
No, but I'm saying, before she got to the PFL, her only losses were like to the top level females at the time. They had been through the sport, correct? Can you pull it up there, Dave?
Yeah, for the most part, you're right.
Yeah, Julia Budd. And then, and then she lost her first fight. Who did she lose to?
PFL. It was
scroll all the way down to the bottom. Let's see who
Jenna Fabian,
Nunez, Rousey, and
Christian just
no, she had another one, didn't she?
No,
that's it.
Or she lost to Jenna Fabian.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, that was at PFL. But all the ones before that, her losses were to Amanda and
Ronda and Cyborg.
And Cyborg.
Yeah,
yeah. Jeez, man. I mean, she's got a good list.
She's got a great list.
Yep.
But
yeah, I know. So after that, and then she had 2 wins, and then she went over to PFL, and then she lost. And Jenna Fabian's good on the feet. She has no takedown defense. She's gotten a little bit better at it. But yeah. I just look at Aspen that she did a good job. Aspen did a good job of coming in with her first fight. She fought her ass off. She threw aggressively. I agree with you on the her technique in terms of her stand up. She's got to get better in that area. Her grappling's and her wrestling's pretty good. She still struggles sometimes to get the fight to the ground, but she's working on it, and it's a work in progress. It always is. So, but good for her. Good win. She's back. She made weight. I think that's always been her toughest battle. But this time it's at 145, so it shouldn't have been that hard. But this is good. This is good for her. I think they're going to end up matching her and Kayla Harrison for a fight. That's the only thing I can think of.
I would think so.
We will see. Will it be at 45 though, or will it be at 55? That's the question.
Ooh.
If she only has 2 fights left on her contract, Kayla Harrison, they're going to say, you know what? Fine, we'll fight you the 2 fights, but you're going to have to make weight to 45. I could see that.
Could be.
Yeah, because if they put her in the tournament, they'll have to renegotiate right before the finals.
Well, they're not going to. She already said.
She already said I'm not going to do that. So, but you know what, John? Money works in mysterious ways.
Money can make you make decisions.
No, back to the card there, Dave.
All right, so then we had OAM Oliver Aubin Mercier taking on Stephen Ray. Let's just be honest. This was OAM's fight from the start. Stevie Ray never looked like he felt comfortable in the fight. He got the one takedown. He got the back. But even with that, there was really no danger that he was ever to put OAM in. Oliver just looked good. This is his time. He's super strong. He's always had good wrestling. You never see him knock anybody out. And, man, he knocked Stevie Ray out with that one shot.
Yeah.
That right hand put him out. When his head hit the ground, I thought, oh. And, he kind of got woken up from his head hitting the ground. But he was done in the fight. And it was the right thing to stop that fight. And congratulations to, Oliver. He's been through a lot in his career. He's a tough dude, and this is a big win for him.
I like Oliver. He seems like a very nice guy. I've met him a couple of times. Here's the thing, John. He could have more fights like this if he threw more. He's got power. Yeah. He has power. He's a good, really good fighter. He's got good wrestling. His ground and pound should be a lot more vicious than it is. But he doesn't. He's so concerned about losing the position because he don't have to fight for the takedown again. He carries a lot of muscle. He's a big lightweight. All of these things is something that, all he's got to do is believe more in what he brings to the table, and I think he'll get more finishes like this. Stevie Ray's, he's a dog. Just the punch caught him right on the button, and you could tell he didn't see it because he wasn't even turning his head to look towards it.
No,
that thing hit him square. Pink, and it was over. Right when he buckled, you just saw his body go limp, and he just folded back. It's a bad knockout when the body goes limp and the butt pushes out.
Yep.
And their shoulders kind of hunch over their knees. And hands
are down at the side.
Yeah, I was like,
Not good.
That's nasty. That was nasty. And OAM he's good. He's going to be hard for people to deal with. Continuously be hard for people to deal with. He just got to believe more in what he brings to the table and just throw more. That's all he's got to do because he got some nasty leg kicks and he's got some big power in his hands. And that southpaw stance is going to give people a hard time. Yeah. So he's got to just let it go, man. Let it go. This fight was almost put me to sleep. Delano Taylor versus Sadabusi. I mean, it was just Sadabusi just throwing the body kick, one punch, one kick, one punch, one kick. And for 5 rounds, Delano Taylor, you've got to learn to make adjustments as the fight goes on. You have to make those adjustments with conviction, not, I'm going to take it down. No, I'm not going to take it down. You've got to go for it. An L next to your name at the end of the fight is the same whether you got knocked out, you submitted, or you just lost a decision. It's all the same. You just didn't go for it. You lost out on $1 million. Because it was actually, I agree with John when you and I were texting back and forth. The fight was closer than the commentary was making it out to be. Yes. It wasn't at least I had it.
It wasn't a runaway.
It wasn't a runaway. It could have been 2-2 going into the 5th. And I had it 3-1.
I had 3-1, but it could be. Yeah. This is one of those. I had it 3-1. But it could have been 2-2.
Yeah.
You don't know how the judges are looking and what they're seeing and stuff. So, and especially when, C is, he's not even pot shotting.
Yeah.
He's throwing kicks. The kicks are landing on the leg. A couple coming up to the body. Punch wise, Christ, he had to land maybe 15 punches throughout 5 rounds of fighting. That's pathetic, Josh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, nothing against him as far as, look, you went through that tournament, you won that title. But I can tell you this, Ray Sefo went into that cage at the end of the 3rd round and went to Sadabusi and said, you got to start to fight. This is a championship fight. Now, this is a guy who is the promoter of the event he's the president. You don't ever want to see a president going into the cage and basically telling a fighter, you got to fight. But that occurred. Now, they didn't show it, but I know it occurred because I had people texting me who were there saying, hey, man, do you know what Ray Sefo just did? And it was like, I was shocked it was Ray. I thought if anyone's going to do it, it would have been whatever Peter's name is, the other guy. Because, Ray has fought, and Ray's a great guy. But he did. He went in there, and he actually told, man, you got to start to fucking fight. This is a championship fight, man. You got to show something. And so when you've got, the president of the company doing that during the fight, it's telling you your fight sucks, dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
John, we're going to have this. I'm going to have the same conversation about the CBS fighters, all the ones that are going to be on CBS for Bellator coming up. This is the first time PFL's ever had a pay-per-view. Yep. It's a big deal. You want to bring excitement around it. Your job is to deliver entertainment, not squeak out a victory. Same thing to all those fighters that are fighting on Bellator. If you guys listen to this podcast, I went hard on the paint against the media about the coverage of the big time co-promotion, and then also with the CBS deal. This, to me, I feel like that the media needs to be covering this. Well, guess what? Fighters, it's your job to fucking fight. Make sure they have something to cover. And in this position, in this thing with the PFL, Brett Sefo is going in there going, hey, we're fucking on pay-per-view. This is a big deal to us. We've spent a lot of money, and we need this to happen. I put you on the main card for a reason, because you can deliver, but you're not delivering. I understand. I get the frustration. There's a lot, but you need to have, I get there's $1 million on the line, but you need to go out there and lay it on. This is the entertainment business. You need to lay it on the line. And he wasn't doing that. And Delano Taylor wasn't helping the cause either. He wasn't making the adjustments. He wasn't trying to get in there and really throw down. He would miss a shot and then he would circle back to the center. He'd miss a shot, circle back. No. You need to make that fight happen. If it's not happening, if the guy's running, just picking you apart, it's not working. Make the adjustments. I blame both fighters. It takes two to tango for it to be good.
But I can't. I'm going to tell you, I don't blame Delano Taylor near as much as I do.
No.
See.
No, you don't. I don't either. But I also don't blame Ray Sefo for doing what he did. This is, I got to be honest, John. This is what, when people talk about what Burt Watson does in the back, that motivational speech, fighters need to remember that. And every time, don't leave it to the judges. That's one, because you may not like the decision. That's one. Two is lay it on the line, man. They're paying you some money, and this was the $1 million finals. Yeah. You should be out there throwing down, giving the crowd what they want, but being safe about it. I'm not saying fight stupid.
Yeah, don't fight stupid, but fight. Go after him. Show that you're trying to finish him in the fight. And look, this is, if I was going to give one complaint about it, there was never a time it looked as if Sadabu had a game plan of, we're going to go to a decision. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to try to finish you. You're too dangerous for me to try to finish. I'm going to play safe. I can keep you at range. I can keep you at length. No one wants to see that, brother. Mm-hmm. You got to go out there and you got to at least look for the finishes. Show that you're trying to finish your opponent. If you don't, I'm okay with it, man. It's hard to finish a good fighter. But when you are the guy that's got the tools in the stand-up that you have, and you're not using them, and you're throwing one here and one there, that tells me right there, you're not going after the finish. You're going after points.
Yeah. I agree. So, I mean, like, if I'm a promoter, I'm upset a little bit. And you got to remember that they had the chance to put some of these other fights on the undercard on that main card. You could have had Marlon Moraes on there against Shimon Moraes. You could have had that fight on there. You could have had Jeremy Stevens on there. You could have had Magomed Karamov on there. I could have put somebody else on there.
Let's be honest. You could take a look, and the Moraes fight, both Moraes, so it's easy for me to say. Look they fought. Mm-hmm. Marlon was doing a great job in that fight for a while, and Shimon came out and knocks him out. That's what you're looking for. I'm trying to finish this fight. That's the whole thing. And you look at the fight. In fact, let's go to the fight before the Sadabu fight.
Best fight on the card. Best fight on the card.
Yeah. Rob Wilkinson, man. I've watched this guy. He's got the wrong nickname. The Razor, get rid of that shit. That was Razor Rob McCullough. Dude, Rob Magnum P.I. Wilkinson. Come on. You remember Tom Selleck as Magnum P.I. This is the perfect one, dude. I love this guy because every time I've watched him, he fights. He comes out. He tries to finish you.
Yeah.
He was going after Akhmedov. And in this fight, man, he fought a great fight. He was landing heavy shots. Amari took some heavy damage throughout that, kept on trying to come back. This is what you're looking for. And this is where I'm sure they put this as their first fight. They looked and thought that Wilkinson was going to, try to put him out, that, Omari would try to put Wilkinson out. It was a barn burner. It got it started, and you fucking had the fire burning. And then your next one took and doused that sucker with their performance. Yeah. So way to go, Rob Wilkinson. That was phenomenal.
That fight, I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. Yeah. I was like, holy shit. Are these guys going to make it 5 rounds? I was just like, there's no way. These guys are huge. Not only just being that big, that type of output from both fighters, not just from one, but from both fighters, the exchanges back and forth. Just a great, great fight. If you guys didn't have a chance to watch it, you guys got to try to go back and watch it. Fantastic fight. Super fun fight. Big shot. Wilkinson just kept coming forward, kept throwing some heat. Amari just kept coming forward, throwing some heat. He wasted a lot of energy because he kept missing some shots. That big overhand right.
Yeah, he kept throwing super hard.
And what I didn't like, though, was the commentary. Oh, the smaller fighter. They're both fighting at 205.
Yeah.
Don't say smaller fighter. I mean, maybe he's not as tall. Maybe he's not as long. But whatever you want to call it, let's not do that to the guy who won. That's the point, is that Amari decided to fight at 205. He's at 205. Like if you look at like Pahea versus Izzy, the smaller fighter. Well, they're both 6'3", 163, 6'4", whatever it is. 6'4". But they're both big guys.
Yeah. Just
because Pahea looked bigger in the cage, the smaller fighter. Yeah, Izzy's normally the bigger fighter. It's like, it doesn't work that way. You can't, so they're both 205 pounders. These two guys are both 205 pounders. What a good fight, man. Fantastic fight. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. These guys were throwing down. I was on the edge of my seat a couple times. It was a fun fight. What a fight to open the pay-per-view with. Great fight. And like you said, the next fight, I was like, it's so upsetting.
Yeah, it was not good. But
all right, go. Happens. What do you think? That it happens. It does happen. I get it. I understand. With $1 million on the line too, people were kind of, plus their fight purse. They get paid plus the fight purse, not just $1 million. So it's it's a little bit of that. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to take that chance and lose it, but it's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. So, all right, next fight.
Well, we kind of we touched on the Moraes fight. Shamo Moraes against Marlon. Marlon looked great in the first couple rounds. But there was one moment, I want to say it was the second round, he got hit and he got stung, and the commentators didn't pick it up, and you saw he backed completely off. He stopped his offense, and I was like, he got hurt, and that's not good for him. You know, as far as I thought, Marlon looked fantastic at 145 as far as plenty of strength, plenty of speed. The speed, you know, I thought he was the faster fighter. He had endurance. He didn't burn out after the first round like we'd seen at 135 from that weight cut. He looked great. He got caught with a fucking 1-2, and it ended up, you know, putting him out of the fight. And the last little bit with the uppercut was the coup de grace. Mm-hmm. What do you do if you're Marlon? Because this is how many losses in a row? And you look and you go...
I think he was saved that he didn't fight Shane Burgos.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that.
I look at him. He's got 5 losses in a row. He got 1 win, and he had another loss before that. So he's really got, in his last 7 fights, he's got 1 win, right?
Yep. And a lot of people, you know, I thought he won the Aldo fight based upon, look, he landed the cleaner shots if you go back and watch it. But a lot of people thought he lost that one, too. And that would have been, 7 losses in a row if he had that?
He did win the Aldo fight.
I know he did. But a lot of people thought that he lost that fight.
Oh, got it. I thought you said he thought
he won it.
Okay.
But.
Yeah. I look at John, the amount of time that he has spent cutting so much weight. Has it had an effect on his chin? Yeah. That's what scares me a little bit, is that I think a lot of these guys that are just depleting themselves so much when they get into their 30s, body just can't take it anymore. You know, and the fluid in your brain and everything else throughout your body, it's just years and years of doing it. And I have to think, look, I don't want to speculate or anything like that. So I'm just simply saying, like, I feel like a lot of like Anthony Johnson's health issues came from him trying to kill himself to get to 170 for those years.
No doubt about it.
Even when he was trying to get to 185. And let's not forget that he wrestled, you know, he's NAIA national champ or runner-up, I believe, or something like that. And so that, him wrestling all those years, all the weight cuts he did then, and then also all the weight cuts he did in the beginning of his career trying to make 170. Shit, he missed 185. Remember when he was supposed to fight Vitor Belfort? He missed that weight too. And he finally found his weight class at 205, but it took him a while. He fought a heavyweight for a while. He fought Andre Arlovsky and a couple other
series of fighting.
Yeah, 1 or 2 other guys. You know,
yeah.
Look, he finally just got tired of cutting weight. And then when he came back to 205, when he fought in Bellator also, he had to make the 205, and he had to lose all that weight. He also put on a lot of weight in between the UFC and Bellator stint.
Huge weight.
And then he had to lose all that weight again. Just your body is not capable of doing that for too long, especially in extremes. And I think Marlon Moraes, he's not a tall guy, but man, does he carry some muscle.
Boy,
he carries the muscle, and he's got that small little waist. Like, I think he probably has like a 24-inch waist, 25-inch waist.
It's crazy.
Not going to lie, I'm fucking jealous. But his shoulders, his abs, his lats, his traps, all that stuff he's big. His legs are pretty big too. He's got a big old fucking butt and like big old hammer to drive the nail. He's built like a Greek god, but he's only like 5'3", you know, but he's built.
A little taller than that.
Yeah, he's a little.
Got to be 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah, he's a little bit shorter than. Well, he's a little bit tall. He's a little bit shorter than Dalton Rasta, who's 5'6". So we, you know, he's like right underneath that. But
Dalton Rasta is gonna pick you up and make you a fucking lawn dart.
I love it. I'm gonna call HR. HR. He's one of our fighters. HR. Come take care of this.
This man's trying to hurt me.
I love that kid, man. He's such a nice, and I love that he called me out on the whole fight interview.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that he do it. Anyways,
that was just you. Hold on. Yeah, let's be honest. Romero Cotton comes from AKA.
Yeah,
he's a great guy. You trained with him, even at your own gym and stuff. You had to be a homer in that. It was understandable, but I did pick Dalton Ross to win.
Yeah, I did. the one time John's been right in the last 5 years.
Now it's one time.
The one time.
Damn, one man, time. You're killing me, dude.
Oh, jeez. Can't even count how many times I've been right. I've been right so much.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Any other fights on here you want to talk about?
Look at Nate and Schulte looked phenomenal against Jeremy. He had the arm triangle the first time. And you got to give it up for Jeremy Stevens, man. He fought out of that first one. I thought he had it. He's not going to get himself out of that. And he did. You know, he made it to the second one, but got caught in it again. And by that time, too much energy had passed, unable to get himself back out. You know, this is what, the third loss in a row for Jeremy in the PFL?
Is it 3 or is it 2?
3.
Oh, man, that sucks. No, you got to win in there.
Oh, you got to win against Miles Price. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I screwed up. I apologize, Jeremy. I was thinking, man, it was 3 in a row, but the Clay Collar fight was a great fight.
Clay Collar's tough.
But if you're the PFL and you look and you go, how much are you paying Jeremy to fight? Is he ever going to be that guy that's, you know, is going to be the champion there? I'm not sure now at this age. I love him. He's a great fighter. Yeah. Tough as hell.
Great person, too. Love it. He's a great person.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different things that you can look at is the fighters that have gone from the UFC to PFL. You see it sometimes, not because they're always older. Some majority of the time they are, it's because they're older. Like they don't want to leave the UFC, so they go to the PFL, or they want to come to Bellator, or whatever it is. Like Roy McDonald and then Jeremy Stevens over there, Anthony Pettis over there. All of them, they want to go there. They think they're going to have easier fights. They're going to be able to make a lot of money, and they do sign for a lot of money. Look at what I think Pettis came out publicly and said he made like $750,000 to fight.
Good for him.
Good for him.
That's awesome.
Fucking fantastic. Fantastic. Right. So there's that. And then, you know, Roy, when he came to Bellator, you know, he was able to win the title, and then he entered the Grand Prix, didn't win the finals in the Grand Prix tournament at the welterweight division. But he had some fucking very memorable fights. He's still one of my favorite fighters of all time. Fantastic person as well. But when they leave the UFC, they don't always come out and have performances like Rory. Rory maybe slowed down a little bit when he got to Bellator, but he still had some left in the tank. He delivered with some good fights. But I can say that some other fighters that have come over, they haven't. And in this situation, the Anthony Pettis situation didn't work out for them. Jeremy Stevens, he's getting older. I'm not sure if that's working out for them. I don't know what they're paying him. You know, there's these guys that are in there that they come and they think they're just going to be able to, I've been fighting the best guys in the world. John, we've said this too many times. These fighters need to understand that there is really good fighters in other organizations. Whether you're towards the end of your career or not, there's a lot of good fighters in other organizations. Stop with the mentality of, I've been at the UFC, I know I can do this. No, that doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. You know, these guys are hungry. I mean, look at what DJ and Eddie Alvarez found out. They went over to one. Now, I think a little bit has to do with how they do their weight cut, and these guys are not their size by the time they actually fight. It's weird for the guys that have been doing it traditionally, cut weight, fight the next day. It's different. So the guys come in way bigger. They come in, you know, just, I don't know, stacked, you know, just huge. And so it's different. But these fighters that are coming from UFC to Bellator and then to PFL or to, you know, other organizations, don't overlook these guys. Don't overlook these fighters. You are going to have a rude awakening, which some of them have found out, John.
But, you know, you look at this, and this is the part that I don't understand at times when I see certain fighters. AKA, Extreme Couture, ATT, Killcliff FC, just Jackson Wink.
Yeah.
If you work out at any of those places, you have fighters from all these different organizations working out there too. And you train with them. And when you train with them, you go, some bitch is good.
Yeah.
You learn that. Now, there are guys that train a little bit towards, you know what, they don't train with a whole lot of other organizations that I can understand. But for the most part, man, just through training, you know, It doesn't matter what organization you're fighting in. There's good guys in every one of them. Mm-hmm. There are tough guys. There are guys that will give you every ounce of fight you can handle. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot that opened up my eyes when I traveled around and grappled and trained and did stuff down at the Huntington Beach, the Ultimate Huntington Beach or whatever, that gym.
Ultimate Training?
Yeah, Ultimate Training Facility. Yeah, with Tiki's place and Rob McCullough, and I trained with Bisbing there. I trained with a lot, Handsome Rob. Remember Handsome Rob? I trained with a lot of guys. I'm like, man, you guys are pretty good. You guys are scrappy, man. You guys are good. And then I went over to Frankie's, trained there, trained with Chris Ligori, trained with, Ricardo Almeida, all those guys. And then I went over
damn, you guys are good.
Yeah, I was like, damn. And then, especially fucking Almeida, man. I was rolling with him. I felt like I was trapped in every little thing. What the hell is going on right now? And then
I remember when Almeida first went into the ADCC, he was a brown belt. Mm-mm. He was eating everybody up. He was on fire there.
He was good, man. He was good. When I roll with him, I'm like, oh, he's bigger than me. Not a big deal. Whatever. I've trained with all these guys. I'm good. This fucking guy. I was like, jeez, this kid's good. Like he was just tight on everything, and and just the way. And he was so nice. He was so nice. And we were at his gym, so I mean, I was expecting him to be a little bit more like arrogant about it all, but yeah, and honestly, you go to some gyms and top level black belts, they shy away from you because just in case. And that's when you're like, oh, you're not confident. You're not confident in but no, he was very confident. He was fucking all over me, man. I was like, get off of me, you son of a bitch. And then I went to Henzo's. I took train with Frankie and John Danaher's class,
which is where
there.
Ricardo Almeida came from.
Yeah. But I was Ricardo I was with in Jersey.
Yeah, he had his own school, I know.
Yeah, he had his own gym out there. But then I was in New York City, and then we were training at Henzo's. And
killer.
Yeah, and man, we were down in the dungeon there with John Danaher's place, and it was packed. It was so big. I'm like, don't you motherfuckers have jobs? It was like 10 a.m. There was no space on the floor. There was like at least 80 people in this class. At least 80 people. I was like, don't you guys have jobs? We're trying to drill a move. I swivel underneath and my head hits somebody else's head. I'm like, how do you guys train like this? You've got to have two classes. You've got to have two classes. And it was just, it was so frustrating, but at the same time,
now you're
really
altering
cool.
their schedule.
But it was so frustrating because I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
But it was so cool though too, because you're down there like, this lets you know like jiu-jitsu is alive. Like this was really cool. It was a no-gi class and just the conversation, and when John would talk, everyone's like hovering around, and it was really cool. It was so cool to be part of, and I was like, wow, this is fun. There were so many like big and then like remember when you talk about how you walk into a room like you were saying with Bilal. Bilal's like, man, this guy said he was like 5-0. He was training with the guys out there with Habib. He's like, I never even heard of this guy. He's like, this guy was giving me the biggest problems ever. He's tearing me up. Just fucking, I couldn't get up off the bottom. He was taking me down at will. He's like, this kid right now could just show up and probably be in the top 5 or top 6 or whatever in the welterweight division or whatever in the UFC. He's like, I never heard of this kid. And I walked into John Danaher's training and I'm like grappling with these guys and I'm like, hey, who are you? Like, where are you training? Like, he's like, oh, I just train jiu-jitsu, and they were fucking me up. It was horrible. John, I was humbled coming out of there going, this sucks. Like,
I've
these
been
guys
humbled too many times.
Yeah, these guys, they've never had fights. They've never, but man, they could grapple. I was like, you guys are so good. Man, if you guys learn how to punch, we're all in a lot of trouble. It was because a lot of them were college, like 3 of the guys that I grappled with, they were college wrestlers.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get out from underneath them, and I'd pull guard, because it was so crowded. I'd just sit to my butt and try to play the butterfly. But they were so technically good in using their hips, and then just the way that they smash people, they fucking just cut through my guard like a hot knife through butter. It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed to tell them I was a black belt. I was like, gosh, damn. They're like, man, they were just good. They were good. And I was like, man, they were just killing me, murdering me. And I walked out of there trying to tell myself, it's because I trained hard earlier yesterday and the day before. And this is my fourth day in a row hard. Two
exhausted.
days. Yeah, I was just telling myself some bullshit lie to get myself to feel better. I wanted to check my ego, be like, hey, it's all right, ego. I just give my ego a pat on the head.
We're good.
Yeah, a little pat on the head for the ego right here. I was like, it's okay. We'll be better tomorrow.
I didn't feed you yet. That's the whole reason why that happened.
Yeah, right? I was just embarrassed. All
right, let's go over the last couple fights real quick. Magomed Karamov looked fantastic. The guy's a stud. Fighting his teammate, a guy that he has trained with and stuff in Gleason Tebow. That's an odd situation, but he looked really good, very clean, and amazing that, Gleason, who used to fight at 155, the speed, I thought possibly that, he might have some speed. No. Magomed Karamov was even faster than him, so nice win. You got to give it up for the young lady in Dakota Ditcheva. I can't even say her name right. It's all screwed up. But she really, you're looking at a flyweight. She got power in her hands. That was a beautiful knockout. That's 2-0 now for her in the PFL. They've got a nice young fighter there that they can really look at building and stuff. I want to give it up for Marcus Conan Silvera, who is her coach, who has done a phenomenal job with a ton of people at ATT and is doing that with her. So way to go there, Conan. You're fantastic as a coach. And then you got to give it up for a guy that's got a lot of pressure on him. Ali Walsh, the grandson of Muhammad Ali, coming out, went out and did what he was supposed to do. That's an amateur fight, but he went out and KO'd his opponent in under a minute. Very nice job.
Interesting. I missed that fight.
I know.
Oh, I was texting you going, fuck, is it prelims? You're like, yeah, motherfucker.
Yeah, it is. I'm watching them right now.
Dude. I was like, damn it, better rush home. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our PFL talk. So we'll go to mybookie.ag, use our promo code WayneIn. All right, what do you got for us, Dave?
All right, big story. So we have a big change to UFC.
Story.
Yeah, UFC 282 on December 10th.
It's not a big story.
It's huge, John.
It's a bullshit story.
Yuri Prochaska is out of the main event against Glover. He has a shoulder injury, and Dana White has made a comment that it's the worst shoulder injury the doctors have seen in UFC history. And then he said they offered Glover to fight Ankalaev, and for some reason he didn't want the fight, so we had to move on. If we couldn't have the rematch, getting Ankalaev, who has the second longest winning streak in light heavyweight history, and Blachowicz, who is the former champion, is really fortunate. It all fell into place for us, as it often seems to. But that's a great fight too, and now it's for the title. So Jan, who said he was the last person to know about these changes, is headlining against Ankalaev for the title.
Did it all just fall in place?
It was coerced, by the way, into place with a little bit of extra money. That's what it was. A couple things. Glover at the age he is, he can't afford to take a loss, and he knows that. So he wants to probably let the dust settle, see how these two guys fight. He is probably hoping that Jan wins. That's a good fight for him.
Yep.
But if Ankalaev wins, that's not a good fight for him. Styles make matchups, and Jan is somebody that I don't think can get up off the bottom against Glover. No. Whereas Ankalaev is going to be a lot harder to take down and a lot harder to hold down, and the speed in the hands and the feet, all those things will be a problem. So, but Jan could also keep this, if he can keep this fight on the feet against Ankalaev, he can knock out Ankalaev. So there's a lot of, let these two guys fight. Let them do some damage to each other in hopes that, hey, when it comes my turn around to fight, then I can at least have a little bit better game plan and more time, because he's only going to have one shot.
Okay, then let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. So why is it that when you go to Glover and you only present him with Ankalaev, that's the only fight you present him with? You say, hey, Yuri's out. We're going to move Ankalaev in there. And he says, hey, that's a completely different style. I need time to get ready for him. He's fighting Blachowicz. Why don't you bring Jan into it? Now, why is it okay that you can bring Ankalaev into it with Blachowicz, who he was supposed to fight, I understand, and kick Glover out. Why couldn't you have done the Glover versus Blachowicz 2 fight?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Dave, can you pull up Jan's record? Did Jan win his last fight?
Yes.
Who did he fight?
He fought
I got it coming.
Alexander
Rakic.
Oh, Rakic. But Rakic tore his knee.
Yeah. But he won his last fight. That's
I get what you're saying. And then he lost to Glover before that. I get what you're saying. But I think because both Jan and Glover are both older, they went with Glover first. He turned it down. Ankalaev, like Dana said, has the longest win streak.
Well, Jan's not going to turn it down. He's already fighting him.
No, I understand that. I get what I'm saying. But they went to Glover first saying, hey, we're going to give you the title shot. This is the guy that we want you to fight because he's got the longest win streak. Jan, I get it. I understand. You know why. John, why are you even questioning? You know why. Because Glover's fucking old. They don't want him to become champion again. Let's go ahead and let's just throw it out there. That's why. But in all fairness, I saw where you were going with it, and I'm just proposing the argument is that Ankalaev was supposed to fight Jan to see who was going to fight probably the winner of Yuri and Glover. Ankalaev's got the longest win streak. It's only fair to give it to the guy who has the longest win streak over Jan, who's already been champion but lost, and then now is trying to make a run back. I see what they're doing. And I also think it's smart on their part as a promotion to have him fight Glover. Glover didn't want it. Fine. Fight Jan for the title. And let the dust settle and see what happens. I doubt they'll offer him another title shot, though. I doubt they'll offer Glover another one.
This is the point. And Glover's upset by this. And I understand why he's upset. Because, see, when you're Glover Teixeira and you have fought for the UFC for all these years and you've always done everything that they've asked and you did win the title and you lost it in your last fight and you're going to get the rematch and then it doesn't happen, you expect for them to at least understand, hey, just give me this fight instead of this one. And when it doesn't happen, you're upset. When exactly what you're saying, look, this is business. And they look at it as business. And they look at it and say, no, Ankalaev is the guy that we want to push towards being champion because we believe out of all of you, he's the best fighter.
John, remind everybody what Lorenzo Fertitta told you one day about business.
As simple as it gets. He says, friendship is friendship and business is business. But don't ever believe that friendship's going to beat business. Business takes priority. And this is exactly what it is. Business.
And once you realize that, and if you don't believe that, go back into the history of what's going on, of what's happened in the UFC history. You have Matt Hughes, you've got Chuck Liddell, you have guys that were guaranteed jobs for the life of the company.
Yep.
Company was sold, money was made, billions of dollars were made. Those two guys were gone. You know what I mean? Like their salary was $250,000 a year, $250,000 a year, I believe is what it was. Once the company was sold, those salaries went away. It's happened multiple times. GSP did the little sneaky to get the Bisping fight. That pissed them off. So that's why I believe that you and I have talked about this. That's probably why they didn't let him go box. Because you burned us. You were supposed to fight and defend that title one more time.
Yep.
At least one more time, and you didn't. You just left with the title, went off running. So I believe that's why they didn't go let him box. So who knows? This is a business decision right here. That's what I feel. I agree with you.
It is.
But it's not. But it is only fair that you allow Ankalaev to fight for the title with the longest win streak, unbeaten or whatever it is. Gotta let him. He's got to eventually get there. Why not now? Kill two birds with one stone. If he beats Jan, he's gonna fight. If they're gonna offer him to Glover too to beat Glover, we'll see. And in the process, Glover's getting older.
I totally understand exactly why things worked out this way. And my whole point was, in Glover, I understand. And Glover is a great guy, one of the best guys you'll ever meet. And I can understand why he looks as, man, I've done all this stuff. It's business. They don't care about the friendship. They care about the business.
See that, John?
Zero fucks.
That's
baby.
how many fucks they give, right?
Zero.
Next.
That's it.
All right, I'm gonna wrap up on this one. Anthony Smith, that's the wrong one. Anthony Smith making comments around Conor McGregor's recovery, and then Conor McGregor's retaliated on Twitter. So Anthony Smith's comments about Conor's recovery, he says, "It bothers the fuck out of me, like that he pulled himself out of the USADA pool. There's only one reason you would do that. He's looking jacked as shit. You keep seeing videos of him flexing in front of mirrors and screaming, and he's huge. He's healed really fast, like really fast." And then Conor comes out and says, "This rat spoke to Weidman, who had the same horrific injury and is having severe complications still, is bothered that I was able to heal, return to a normal way of life. He, like many other rats in my game, would be happier if I wasn't able to play with my children the same again."
Deflect, distract, make counter accusations.
I mean, historically, right, when injuries like this happen, they put you on some sort of
steroid.
Yeah, either steroid or healing. You know, they consider like a steroid, something that will help your body heal more. It's not. It's in the USADA pool. It doesn't mean that it's a steroid. It could be just something they have on their banned substance list, which helps you heal faster, recover faster, all of those things. Nothing to say. He took himself out because he knew he was going to pop, and and that's it. So I mean, I understand it. It is what it is. Do you want to heal or not? And he does, and he wants to get back in there and fight. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see him fight again. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. He just seems like he's just keeping himself entertained. I feel like he uses social media to get more, like, to keep the attention on him when he's off, which is good. I mean, it's a marketing tool. That's what it's meant for. This social media was meant to build your brands, to communicate, like to post people about your life and what you're doing in your life, and keep your brand going. That's what it should have been meant for. You know, he's doing it. That's the way he's doing it. Good for him. I don't have anything to say about Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is entitled to his opinion, and
sure.
And I like Anthony Smith a lot, and I respect his opinion. He does have a point.
You just take a look at with what Anthony is saying. He's saying, in his opinion, it's wrong that Conor is allowed to do this and then come back to fighting. It's like, you know, sometimes you have to take medications that, you know, are not within the boundaries of USADA or water or VOD or any of those. He took himself out. As long as he tests clean when he comes back, what can you say?
John, I've seen a lot of guys in the fight business that have been stacked and juiced and whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make him a better fighter.
Nope.
It actually, as the fight goes on, Conor's already had problems with his cardio. So majority of the time you see those fighters do what? Gas
Look at the last thing that Conor needs is more muscle mass.
Yeah.
Because all of this muscle mass that he's putting on his body right now is something that, you know, if you understand the physiology behind it and everything that goes with it, all the blood vessels that grow, everything that the heart now has to pump blood to that it didn't have to pump to before. And then if you think you're just going to go and, we're just going to go fight this way, it doesn't work that way. You're going to get exhausted because your heart is having to pump more blood to more areas. It just doesn't work. Mm-hmm. You know, I used to tell guys that were jacked all the time. It was funny. They would come into my gym and say, "Look, I'm just telling you, this is what's going to happen. We're going to start to go. You're going to turn bright pink, and eventually you're going to turn the color of Josh's freaking shirt right now. It's you get this gray look to your skin because your body is trying to suck all the blood towards your organs because your heart needs it, and it can't pump enough to all that muscle, and you die. As far as you fall off the cliff, you just can't keep any kind of pace unless you're someone that's had that muscle mass for a long time and has learned to build a cardio structure around that muscle mass. It just doesn't work the same.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that we've seen it too many times where they've carried too much muscle, or they've put it on too fast. You know, that's what we talked about with with Max Holloway when he went to 155. And Dustin Poirier, he did a good job of building up his strength and his conditioning over time. He didn't jump in right into the title shot contention. He jumped in and slowly worked his way up in the lightweight division. Even though he was a big 55 pounder, 45 pounder already, and he was carrying around, Max jumped up right away and it showed. He had a hard time having to deal with somebody who was a bigger guy.
And carry that extra weight.
Yeah, exactly. Carrying the extra weight's not easy.
No.
Because it's very important to understand that you train at a certain weight. When you're in full fight mode, your weight drops down within the reason of you being able to carry that. And then you're used to training carrying that amount of weight, say for the last 3 weeks. Then you get into your fight and you see people blow up past the weight that they're used to training at. And that's the ones that have fatigue and start to settle in and start to slow down as the fight goes on. In this situation, he's never been known for his cardio, John. He's not somebody that is like, oh, you know, in round 4, I'm out there. Yeah, he's not that cardio machine at all.
He's a fast twitch muscle fiber athlete. There's reason there's sprinters. There's reasons there's marathon runners. Everybody's body reacts differently to, you know, competition and whatever you're doing. He's a sprinter. Not that he hasn't gone 5 rounds, and he has. You know, and he's done well in the fight that he had with Nate Diaz, the second one. But he had that moment where you could see he needed to get a secondary breath. Yeah. And sometimes that you get that second win, sometimes you don't. He got it in that fight, and it helped him through the fight. But overall, he's a sprinter.
Yeah.
He gets people out of there fast.
All right. Nothing else, Dave?
No, we'll wrap up on that one.
All right, go to WayneInMerch.com. We have a whole new site, a whole different style of clothing, and we love it. So new designs, new artwork, all of that up there right there at WayneInMerch.com. It is Black Friday, but guess what? We're calling it Black Wednesday because we have it through the weekend. So 15% off on all of the purchases made before Sunday or before Monday, right? Midnight? What are we doing?
Before Monday.
Let's just say before Monday. Let's say before Monday. What's that?
Before Monday.
Before
I said, let's just say limited time.
Limited time, okay.
Limited time offers. Very nice.
Dave with the big words. What a slogan. All right, guys. WayneInMerch.com. Pick up some of our merch. We got all these new things, new hoodies, new designs, new colors all out. New different types of shirts too. The Tri-Blend is available. Great quality shirts. I love those. Are my favorite. And John, take us away.
I hope everyone enjoyed the PFL. For Kayla Harrison out there, man, hey, you're still a stud, and you're going to only be better. Everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed those fights. If you did watch, we're going to find out what the pay-per-view was like. We're going to see if Josh is right or if I'm right in this. He's going over 100K. I'm saying no. Maybe
I said 800K. Don't try to put me at 100.
You said now you're saying 800K?
No, I said A.
What's 800K? What's 100K?
100K, not over. You said over 100K. I said
at 100K. 100K. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
Probably won't be one over. Probably won't be one over.
You're gonna be a lot under.
I'm just look. If John's right, this will be the second time in the last 5 years.
Second time.
The last 5 years.
That's it. That's probably true. For everyone out there, we hope you enjoyed the podcast, and we will see you.